It seems like I'm trying to trap you. I'm not. This is an honest question. Would you rather
Go
new
for it.
codexes come out that are overtuned and are too powerful and then they bring them down? Or would you rather they come in undertuned and they don't do well and then they bring them up?
Ooh.
Good morning, everybody. Rick again. I'm here with Gareth Donnelly, who just won a local RTT with a 6 Dreadknight list with the Grey Knights at the Halloween Heresy RTT. I think it's been like, what, 2 weeks we've been trying to get this interview scheduled and life's been getting in the way, but here we are. And I'm excited. I know that lots of people have been trying to theorycraft how to make these 6 Dreadknight lists work. I know that when I went to my first RTT yesterday, that me plopping down 5 even made people groan. So I can't imagine what it's like to drop down that 6th. So let's get straight into it. Gareth, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been playing Warhammer and why you chose Grey Knights?
Right. Hope you've got about 6 hours for this because it's going to take a bloody long time. Right. So, started off late fourth edition, and then fifth edition, it just exploded. And I just got into Grey Knights in fifth. So I don't know how long you've been playing for, but I came out of this bonkers list back in fifth ed, which had 3 Storm Ravens,
Okay.
three autocannon dreadnoughts, and two was it two the other dreadnoughts?
Weren't there like Psy Cannon dreadnoughts or something at one point?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what they were. Yeah, so they
Oh,
had
cool.
2 autocannons, and back then they were the most broken thing in the whole game because they had four twin link shots, broken, absolutely broken. You know, one orc flyer would now destroy that whole entire army, which is a joke. But anyway, so yeah, started off in fifth, got into competitive gaming really quickly. We started a team in a group of friends, and we're still playing together now, which is pretty awesome after all
That
these
is
years.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, we've all got older, balder, more grey, and we need to go to the toilet a lot more often. But apart from that, we're still rocking and rolling.
Better than the alternative.
Yeah, went to the ETC, played for Wales, did really well there. And then sixth ed appeared, wasn't too keen on it. Still played, but not the best. And then seventh and eighth was just bollocks, basically. Didn't like it at all. And then life happened. And then ninth ed come along, and I thought, all right, let's get back into it because we've had COVID and we couldn't play anybody and all that jazz. Um, and then the Grey Knights got the new book, and all of a sudden, I had these 6 Dreadknights sitting in the cupboard for God knows how long, and I thought I've got to make them work. They've got to
Beautiful.
work. Yeah, but to be honest with you, it was just an evolution. I started off with 3, then went to 4, and they were just too good. They can do something in every single phase, and if you've got a model that can do something every phase, then the logical thing to do is spam it. Um, and if you can spam it enough where you don't need command points, then go for it. And that's exactly what I did. And
I
then
see
once they
that.
were spammed, yeah, just do it. And then once they were spammed, I thought, well, how can I make them even better? So that's when they went into well, 4 of them going to 1 detachment. So that made them even better because of the rules for that. And then 2 tech marines came along. So not only were they making them fight better, but they're also repairing them throughout the game.
Hmm.
So most games, I technically have about 7.5 Dreadknights.
Nice.
Wins what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And when the heavy support ones actually shoot better than the HQs, then you know you're doing all right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're base 3, then they get what was it? Awaken the Machine Spirit from the Evil Tech Marines, so now they're gonna hit on
Yeah.
2s, and then they get to reroll
Mm-hmm.
1s
Yeah.
because they're core. So Yeah, they're
Yeah,
actually more dangerous than the Grandmasters.
yeah, exactly. And then when you've got 6 of them just very slowly creeping up the board, and the tech marines just running up behind them. So all the tech marines do is just run. They do anything else, they just run.
Yeah.
And then repair where necessary. So one tech marine's repairing a flat 3, the other one's doing D3,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just bloody horrible. And then you've got 18 interceptors behind them, all sneaking around the buildings, just nicking objectives and just being a pain in the arse. And they're just very scary.
Beautiful. So that's like, I I heard you say you had started with 3 and then moved to 4 and then 5
Mm-hmm.
and so on. Were you playing with friends and you just kept dropping more Dreadknights as you realized how good they were, or was this like a theory crafting thing and then eventually you're like, this is the list, this is the one that I want to use?
It was just through practice.
Okay.
And, you just have to pick the best of what you've got. And it was either 30 interceptors or as many dreadnoughts as possible. So I did like a mix of the two,
Yeah.
and so far it's worked really well.
Yeah, I feel you there. I did an interview just a little while ago with Matthew Green, and he was explaining that in the Grey Knights you basically have 2 sliders, and they are opposed to one another, and the sliders are interceptors or Grand Knight or Dread Knights. That's it. Those are the 2
Mm-hmm.
real choices you get to make because those are now the best units in our codex right now. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, I'm running a list right now that's also 2 Tech Marines, 5 Dreadknights, and only 20 Interceptors, but that's because those are the only models that I had. So I got to build more. Um, well, cool. So you've been playing a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like you're pretty experienced. That you actually know what you're doing. Not like me, where
Fingers crossed.
I just flail around a lot, and people take pity on me. Um, let's jump into your list then, huh? Let's just get right into
Mm-hmm.
it. So obviously, to put 3 Grand Master Dreadknights, you have to take 3 detachments. So
Mm-hmm.
why don't you lead us through it all? I'm just gonna let you guide, unless you'd prefer I
Oh,
do.
no, I'm cool with it. I mean, I might get it back to front and arse end round, but I'll get there eventually.
However you want to. Let's do it.
Fair enough. Right. So we start off with rapiers. And I just picked those really because you've got the exploding 60 strap, which is really good. I mean, I only start with 4 CP anyway, so it's quite situational. Yeah, but
Yeah.
so I had that just situational, as I said,
Hmm.
because one of the interceptor units has got that with them, so it's always good if you've got 10 of them jumping around to have the extra attacks. It just makes them more dangerous, even if you never use it. Your opponent knows that you've got it,
Hmm.
and a lot of this list, the way it's worked out, it's just a threat. It doesn't actually have to do what the threat says it may possibly do. It's just there just in case. So, for instance, the Grandmaster Dreadknight has got the Warlord trait from there, but also got a second Warlord trait from the book. So he can run and assault, and he gets +1 to both,
Okay.
which just makes him a massive threat at the beginning of the game. So if I go first turn, if he's right on the line, he's going to do a run um, with the +1, and he's got a very good chance of getting the assault off. Now, also in conjunction with that, if he's with or if he's next to a unit from the Blades,
Hmm.
which at the beginning of their turn will be moving 6 inches forward as a pre-game move, you've got a really nice little threat bubble there, which usually keeps people off their line, even if they want to risk going first. It just keeps them off that line. So it makes usually they have to spend an extra turn getting onto objectives, which makes it easier for me because I'm spreading out very fast to get objectives myself.
Right.
So then we go for the second one, which is the sword bearers. Now the sword bearers is where we've got one of the Grandmasters with 3 of the Dreadknights. Now, again, this is to take full advantage of this 2 CP stratagem to get +1 to hit. So this helps huge. So when you've got a lot of things that are either not within tech room range, or there's lots of things that have got minus to hit, which is loads at the moment, also helps with that.
Dense terrain
but
or
also,
whatever.
Exactly. But the big one is the spell, which gives my guys +1 to wound. That's the major thing. So when you've got 4 Dreadknights, +1 to wound on something nasty, or just to clear a unit, and all you're trying to do is just maximize your firepower. That's all you're doing. So even if you use that and 2 Dreadknights kill something, well, it's better than 3 Dreadknights killing something without all the buffs.
Yeah.
So you've got 1 spare to go on to something else. Again, it's a threat. So when people come across that, and they know to keep the extra distance just in case I go first. We've also got mixed in with that to redeploy the 3 core units as well. Again, it's just another threat. I can stick 3 things on the front line, and if it goes tits up and I go second, I can just move them out of the way. And it helps loads. Or what I use that for as well is when I've done my pre-game 6-inch move, I then use the redeploy to get my Dreadknights through at the back to take the place of the 2 units that move 6 inches forwards. Because usually you can't get everything on a line.
Right.
There might be ruins in the way or walls or something in the way.
Yeah. And you do have a lot of those big bases.
A lot of huge bases.
Yeah.
So by using the redeploy, you are pretty much getting another 6-inch move.
Fantastic.
With the other guys that were sitting at the back. So then if you do get first turn, you've got 2 units 6 inches moved, and everything else is on the line ready to rock and roll.
That's awesome.
So it when it works, it's brilliant.
Sure.
And then when it doesn't work, you've always got redeploy. What did I miss out? I've missed something out. Oh yeah, on the Rapier's Grandmaster, the guy who could run an assault, he's also got the relic where if you shoot enemy disappears.
Yeah. That
the sigil, that's it, sigil.
Yeah, the sigil of exigence has been such a it just messes with my opponents the whole time. Like every game I ever play, they're like, I'm not gonna shoot him, and I'm like, okay, that's great.
Yeah, and
just
don't shoot
if you do, that's even better.
Brilliant.
But yeah, don't shoot me. I had one game where somebody plinked at him with like a tactical squad or something, and I was like, all right, here we go. Let's play this game. This is pretty great.
It's a really, really, really good tactic. I once had a fantastic game against Death Guard, and he was absolutely pummeling me to death until turn 3, but he just would not shoot that Grandmaster. He just refused to even point at him. So I basically went from the bottom of the board all the way across, and then round to his back lines where he had cultists and chaff. And I just went through the whole of his entire back line, and he scored nothing for turn 4 and 5, and that's what won me the game.
Man,
and it was just unbelievable because he had 3 of them really horrible Forge World Dreadnoughts that do like 1 million wounds for nothing.
Oh, the
by the way, really
Contemptors?
Forge World. That's the one.
The relic
16
Contemptors?
shots, portals, all that crap.
Okay. I mean, I don't know the Death Guard Codex super well, but if they're anything like the Volkite pattern ones that you see a lot of Space Marine lists running right now, I didn't even think those were very good into Dreadknights, because we have a 2-up save naturally, and then we have a 5-up against mortal wounds, so it's like it's not as effective.
But all you have to do is roll a few 1s, and they're 2 damage apiece, and it happens,
Okay.
You can roll a lot of 1s, and you can also mess up an awful lot of 5+s.
Yeah.
And I've had them Dreadnoughts take out Dreadknights in one shot multiple times. They are absolutely horrible. You just do one bad roll on the dice, and they've got you.
Yeah, that's fair. I do roll quite a few ones. I'm very good at it. So the only
Yeah,
thing
same
we
here.
didn't really talk about, I think you mentioned that you have the etheric conduit on one of your
Hmm.
tech marines, so they just heal
Yep,
flat 3.
yep.
The other one obviously does not. You have warp shaping on that tech marine in your rapier's patrol, and then down in your sword bearers you have the other tech marine with the divination warlord trait. Um, I have found that to be an amazing warlord trait. Um, have you had
Oh,
much
sorry.
success with it
On
as
that
well?
one, it doesn't have the. Sorry, it doesn't have the divination on that one.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay.
No, no. I had the 6-inch move Warlord trait instead.
Oh, it's on the
I
tech marine. Oh, okay.
no. It was a 50-50 chance I sent you the correct list, so that one's slightly off.
All right, all right.
So yeah, the Grandmaster's got the 6-inch move
Mm-hmm.
in
Okay,
the blade. So
I
yeah,
see.
it
So
was something I
it's
was toying with before, and it got to the point where I was
oh
missing the 6-inch move too much.
no, I mean I see your 6-inch move on the Vanguard aggression, but your second tech marine in the sword bearers, they have divination, or that's still the wrong list.
No, that's the
Okay,
wrong list.
all right, I see.
Yeah,
Got it.
it was a mix of the two lists I put together. Sorry, that was my fault.
That's okay. We'll
I
just
forgot.
try to
I
make
forgot to
sure.
delete it off the tech marine. Yeah, it needs
Okay,
to be deleted off the tech marine.
I
Sorry.
will just do that right now. Bam, done. I'll
Okay.
make sure that the list that's in the description down below is the actual correct list.
Brilliant, thank
For
you. Because otherwise, I'll be
for
accused
everybody
of
watching
everything.
along. Huh? Sorry.
Yeah, I'll be accused of everything. And also,
Ah,
the list on there is 1997. It's actually 1970 something points.
wow.
Somebody corrected me. I got it complete. Yeah, I know. So I've got loads of points to play with, which I haven't even thought about doing anything yet.
Wow, and you already have great swords on all of your Dreadknights, right? So,
Yep.
I mean, teleporters, I guess? You don't have teleporters on your Dreadknights. And, I
Yeah, I
found
could stick a
the
couple of those
shunt
on.
to be super fun. Like, just, now
Yeah,
I'm, you know,
they are
you
very good,
gate
definitely.
one Dreadknight and you shunt another, and the enemy is like, why?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit. Is this a local RTT? I assume that like
Yep,
with all.
it was a local one. It's a mixture of club players, tournament players. We had a few ex-ETC players there, so there was a good mix of everybody,
Very cool.
which was very good.
So how many people was it?
I think it was, I think it was 36, something like that,
Oh wow,
38.
that's a really big RTT.
Yes, it was a lot of people. I think 40 had booked in, but obviously always get a few dropouts.
Yeah, always. Okay. Well, great. So let's get into your matchups then, huh? Round one. What was it?
So round one was Dark Eldar, Drukhari. I still can't get used to that. So yeah, Drukhari round one, and this was it was like a really mix. It had a bit of everything in it. So it had Talos, gunboats, um, incubi, witches, about 1 million characters, racks. You know, when you just come up against a list and you go, what does it do? And the guy just says, it's easy just to play the game rather than tell you what it all does.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's Dark Eldar for you. Uh, that's quite normal, really. And then we rolled off and I got first, which is going to happen quite a lot this tournament, funnily enough. And going first, I think for this edition is just massive. I mean, previous editions you could go second and do really well, but this one is absolutely a first turn edition. Unless you've got some fantastic defense, which luckily Grey Knights have with the saves, but also dense terrain, which this tournament did have. So going second, at least you had a chance. But with the Dark Eldar player, because he just had so much on the board, he put a little bit into reserve, but I think he should have put more into reserve, and he just didn't. So I got a chance to knock out most of the boats, and turn 1.
Nice.
And then everything was basically on foot. He did use the what's the jump pack guys? Dark Eldar jump pack guys with the dark lances. Can't think of the name now.
The jump pack guys? They have jump pack guys too?
Yeah, they can move 12, and then they've got a strap to shoot and fall back again, like Fire and Fade.
Yeah. No, I
But
don't think I've
then they
ever
hit
run
you with dark
against those.
lances.
Okay.
I can't think of the name of it. You know, it's like put a camera in front of you, your brain goes completely blank. Yeah, one of them. So yeah, so they did quite a number on me. But when you've got a 4-up invulnerable save, you've got a really, really good chance of, you know, it's a 50-50, isn't it, basically? Yeah. And for the first 2 or 3 turns, it was just shoot everything before I even got anywhere near him. And then by then, it was just all over.
So
I was getting...
Do you remember which mission it was? So I assume it was short-edge deployment, so you had a lot of ground to cover.
It's the one where we've got the 2 corners.
Oh, vital intelligence. Is that the one?
That sounds about right, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, the 2, like, the corners or, like, the diagonal?
That one.
Yeah.
So you're sort of set up there, yeah.
It's vital intel, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I remember
this game
this
for
stuff.
so long, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I was actually just, like, surprised that I remembered what that was called. So
well done. I've not got a clue. I'm absolutely awful at this, trust me. But yeah, it's because the Grey Knights are so quick. You can get across the board like extremely quick, but you're just such an absolute annoyance as well, because they know that, especially the Knights, they can play in every single phase. So if you get too close, you're going to get mortal to death, or you're going to be hexed in some fashion, and then you're going to get shot to death, and then you're going to get punched in the dick a lot. They can just do everything. It's such a good codex. If you like playing in all the parts of the game, it's brilliant. You've just got to be quick. You know, you play against something like Tau, and they have one phase to do something, pretty much.
They do a lot in that phase, though.
They can do an awful lot. I mean, for instance, at the end of the day, at that particular tournament, there was a Tau on table 2, which was unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, good to see.
Yeah, I mean, I forget which tournament it was, but Richard Siegler went before AdMech got their codex. When Drukhari was just a damned menace, he actually built a Tau list just to kill Drukhari, and he came in 4th at like a major with it, which astounded everybody. But you know, he made it specifically like, this is to kill Dark Eldar. And then he got matched into, out of like 6 games, I think he got matched into 4 Drukhari. So he was just like, he's like, yes excellent. So yeah, I mean, I'm actually kind of scared what their book's gonna do to them, man. Like, I think Tau are gonna be a damned menace.
oh God, I hope so. We need something different. I'm guessing in the States and around the world as well, you're having the orc issues at the moment.
The freebooters are pretty gnarly right now. Yeah.
It's just a joke. It's an absolute joke.
Yeah.
I can't believe that Games Workshop didn't listen to any of the playtesters.
Man, I'm
just shocked at it.
This is a whole different like side conversation. I love it, but from what I've heard, okay.
Yeah.
The playtesters are only given like bits and pieces of a new codex, so they're never allowed to see the whole thing, or whatever their framework is that they have at the time, and they're never then allowed to like mix and match and pick and choose and really do that like that meta hunting, the min-maxing that we all do as competitive players, because they only get like, here's like, say you were testing the brotherhoods for Grey Knights, but they would only give you like ward makers and blades of victory or something, and you're like, okay, well, I'll play with those, and that's great, and here's my feedback, but you don't know what the other brotherhoods are, or what they can do, or how you can mix and match them and all that, right? So is that what you've heard as well, or is that just what I've picked up from, I think it was Tabletop Tactics. Lawrence was talking about it with the Drukhari book, and he said that they weren't like, they were given the new dark lances, but they didn't have the D3 plus 3 damage. They still a D6 is like one of the things. And then when he got the whole codex, he's like, wow, 3 or D3 plus 3, damn. So
Yeah.
Is that what you've heard too?
Yeah, I know. No, I know quite a few of the playtesters because obviously, you know, we're quite a small community in the UK, believe it or not. Everybody knows everybody. So, you know, after it's all said and done, and people can then say, you know, X, Y, and Z. But I think when you're coming up against like a plane that's, especially an orc plane, that's got 30 odd shots,
42.
then somebody must have said, there you go, 42. It's even worse.
It's
then
way worse.
Somebody must have gone, are you having a laugh, mate? Is this what it really is?
Yeah.
And you can, and it doesn't take a genius to figure out that if that's how many shots you've got, you know there's got to be some sort of a buff or a stratagem at the very worst to make them better.
Mm-hmm.
And then to make all the buggies and everything as strong as they did.
Yeah.
You know, again, it just feels like, I'm going to rant here, but it just feels like the company's run by accountants and not gamers. You know, it really is just, well, how can we just make the maximum amount of dough, which is what they do. And we all fall for it because we're hopelessly addicted. As I keep telling my girlfriend, crack, booze, and hookers is cheaper than 40k. You heard it here first. Very much cheaper, and quite possibly
that's amazing. That's a soundbite right there. Maybe a T-shirt.
Oh, that'd be good. I'll wear that. and then we all complain, and then Games Workshop goes, "Oh, look, they've complained. Let's nerf it." And then we all go, "Woohoo!" because they listen to us, and then they'll break something else.
So like,
and we keep following it.
All right, so this is a super complicated game, okay? Right? Like,
very.
We love it when new codexes come out that do something new and they will shake up the meta, and then you have to adapt by switching up your playstyle and your tactics and your lists and the whole 9 yards. Like, we all like that. It's fun that it's an ever-evolving thing, right? So, with that in mind, would you rather... And this is going to... It seems like I'm trying to trap you. I'm not. This is an honest question. Would you rather new codexes come out that are overtuned and are too powerful and then they bring them down? Or would you rather they come in undertuned and they don't do well and then they bring them up?
Ooh.
Like, that's a game design thing, right? Because it's very complicated. How many... There's like 12 Space Marine chapters just there, and then you have a bunch of other... factions. Is it like 28 factions, 30, something like that? Hard to balance.
There's a lot.
Yeah, so it's really hard to balance, is my point.
It is. I mean, to give you a straight answer, I would rather it was under than they shouldn't cock it up in the first place.
We lost you a little bit there. So you said you would rather it be undertuned.
Yes, and then tune it up. But the real answer is just don't cock it up in the first place. They've been doing this for so many years. They've got so many of us helping them out.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science. All do not shoot like that. And all should have 500 very, very accurate shots. And be absolutely, totally resilient.
Yeah, it does seem like...
don't do it.
Yeah, it does seem like a very anti or very un-orky kind of thing to be very shooty.
It is. Yeah. I mean, 500 shots on BS6, brilliant. Everything with a 5-up save, brilliant. But not this 3-up, 4-up, invuln, cover, -1 to hit, 500 shots, hits on 4s, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
All right. So I'm a software quality guy. All right. Like, I work on some very complicated software, and we get, we're moving very fast, and sometimes we miss things, and then we have to fix it in the wild. That's just part of the job. And I can't help but wonder if, like, So the freebooters thing, and I could be speaking out of my ass right now because I don't play orcs, but I believe that the way that freebooters thing work is that it ups their ballistic skill. It's not +1 to
Hmm.
hit, which is capped at +1. It is +1 to
Hmm.
their ballistic skill, which, if I remember right, can just keep going up till their ballistic skill 2, effectively, right? Is that how the freebooters list works? Like, because they start at like 4s, and then they kill one unit and it goes to 3s, and they kill another and it goes to 2s, right?
No, I think it's just a one.
No? Okay.
Once one unit's destroyed, the whole army just gets +1 to hit.
Right.
That's what I think.
Okay.
That's
All
what I
right.
believe it is to be.
Well,
But
I'll
even
get
so,
eviscerated in the comments, so it'll be fine.
it's okay. Well, every day with this game is a school day. You learn something every new.
Yeah.
You learn something new every single day, and you can play a game for a few months and then realize you've missed something in your army, completely stupid. And then you go online and someone tells you about it, and then you go, "Oh, sorry,"
Yeah.
and then you carry on.
Yeah. It's I had some real teachable moments at this RTT last weekend, my first tournament ever. So stay tuned, my viewers, for the full after action review on that, which will be up soon. But that's neither here nor there. But it is one of the things that I do love about this game is that it is so damn complicated, which is also the
Mhm.
draw, right? Because it's
Yeah.
complicated, there's a lot of different ways that things interact, and you get very different games between different players and play styles and armies. I love that. So,
Mhm.
shall we get into your round 2 then? So you
Yeah.
wall
Sorry,
up Drukhari.
massive tan.
Nah,
So,
nah. Like I
yeah,
said,
I
these are
think that
very free
was.
form. It's okay.
Yeah, that's cool. I think I can't remember the result for that. think it. I think that was 100 points I got for that one.
What
So
secondaries
it
are
was.
you taking?
So I'm taking the Grey Knight one where you
Pure,
bless the objectives.
yeah, purifying ritual. It's like the best secondary in the game. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. It's they see something like that. That one is quite broken. Like really, that should go +1 every time you do it. I'm glad they
Counterpoint.
don't, but it should. Yeah,
Counterpoint. Most armies have abhor against us, so
yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Which well, I always tell my opponents, they go, "What do I take? Just take a ball of wheat. Just have it." But anyway, that's what I take. Banners.
Okay.
Banners is always a good one because you can sit so much stuff on 3 objectives. If you want to, you can just sit there. So just get 3 banners raised and do the blessing, and then just kill shit. That's pretty much what I do.
Okay. What's your third? You hold on to that one for whatever you're facing, or you try to get stranglehold, or
Oh no, third one's just kill shit.
okay. So grind them down, or
Yeah, anything, just anything that involves killing stuff, because
I guess
otherwise it's so boring. So you just want to kill stuff.
I love I love your attitude, man. Like, might as well kill stuff. That's why we're here. Like, I don't have big
Oh,
guns
exactly,
on these exoskeletons for nothing.
exactly. So it's just smite, shoot, punch, smite, shoot, punch.
Beautiful. That's another T-shirt, man. There you go. All right. So round 2. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So round 2 was Death Guard.
Okay.
Now, now, this one was finished at the end of round 1, and it was purely because my dice were unbelievable, and the guy just thought, "Fuck it, I can't be arsed now. I've had enough." So what happened was he had 10 Death Guard Terminators completely tooled up. I mean, they had everything: toasters, kitchen sinks, guns, knives,
Yep.
spells, everything. Just
Sounds right.
yeah. And he baited me turn 1 with a unit of plague bearers. Me being me, just blunt force and stupidity, just go straight in, kill the plague bearers, then out pop these 10 termites from the wall into 2 Dreadknights, and he also had unit of 3 guys. They're like bodyguards or something, but they're really, really tough. So he sent
Okay.
them in as well. Cool, but they're really tough.
I
He
think the
buffed
Death Shroud Terminators have the bodyguard rule, but I don't remember what the other.
it.
I don't remember what the other Terminators are for Death Guard right now. I'm completely drawing a blank.
It's a unit
Blank.
of 3. I think there might be some kind of special characters. I can't remember,
Okay.
but they're really, really tough.
Well,
But
hopefully
all
somebody will
completely,
remind us.
yes, they will. They were completely buffed out of their brains. They had everything on them. Everything was passed. There was next to characters that reduced. It's reduced my tough. So I think they're pretty much hitting onto wound onto with re-rolls and God knows what. So he puts everything into these 2 Dreadknights. And one of them finishes up with 3 wounds, and the other one finished up with 7 wounds left. Now, yeah, see that raised eyebrow thing? Well, that's
Yeah.
exactly what he did, but with tears and stuff.
Holy
Yeah,
moly.
yeah. And then the Tech Marines just went next to him, went, and then fixed them up, and he just said, "There's just no point."
Wow. So at the end, so you
Yeah,
went first, and then at the end of one, when that didn't pan out, he just called it.
yeah, because that was pretty much all the punch in his army. I think any other day he'd have just killed the 2 Dreadknights, and it would have been a game.
Right.
But uh, I just couldn't stop rolling 4s.
That's
Put it this way:
amazing.
if I was him, I'd have accused me of cheating.
Yeah.
That's how good the rolling was. But sometimes it just happens.
Yeah, it is a dice game. See, like, I'm well known in my friends group. Like, my attacks roll very well. Like, I'll be, a degraded Dread Knight firing everything into combat, so hitting on 5s, and I'll still hit with like 70% of my stuff. But if you get me rolling
Yeah,
saves, I'm done. I might as well just not roll any of them because they're gonna be awful. So I should play Drukhari, I guess, because I just need to be offensive all the time.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was it. He just walked away. How does that work? So if your opponent capitulates at the end of like a turn, you just have
Mm-hmm.
you just get to walk around the board and score your stuff and do whatever you want, and they
Yeah,
can't do
yeah. We
anything
just
except
broke
roll
out.
saves, right? Isn't that
We just basically theory hammered the whole thing.
oh, okay?
It was just the easiest way to do it. I mean, this RTT, they were quite chilled out,
Mm-hmm.
and especially the organizer. And it was, if you can work it out between you, amicably, then that's what you do, and that's exactly what we did.
I love that. Like, it's just 2 adults being adults. I like that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and as long as none of you's being a dick, you can do that. It's
Right.
absolutely fine. But he's the one that said, "Should we call it there?" I tried to persuade him otherwise, but if you lose heart in this game, I don't think there's really a point in just adding insult to injury.
Yeah.
So just agree with your opponent and say, "Okay, fair enough," and we'll sort it out. And if there's a bar, take them for a beer.
Perfect. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
mean, like,
we worked out. Sorry.
oh, sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. I was just gonna like say again, it's really nice when it's just 2 adults being adults playing a Barbie doll game. Like,
Mhm.
we're rolling dice. Not a big deal. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean yeah. I haven't run into a bad opponent yet. So
I've had
ever?
one really really bad one, and a
Oh,
couple of iffy ones, but one really bad one. But he was known for it, but that's another story altogether. But anyway, back to the game. We worked it all out, and I got 90. I think it was 98 points for that one.
okay. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was absolutely unbelievable. But as I said, any other day, it would have been a game. Absolutely, 100%. Those dice were just on fire, and that was just it. But you find that with Dreadknights, the amount of times I've lost a Dreadknight to one round of shooting from one model, It happens so much.
Yeah.
You just miss them fours, and next thing you know, oh look, there's 3d6 damage. Oh look, I've
Plus
rolled
two.
it all and hit. Yeah, and then here's something else to add on to it to kill you as well. It's just overkill.
Yeah.
And then you have other games where you have a Dreadknight that's being followed by a Tech Marine, and they just can't kill it. The whole entire game, it just keeps, saving, regenerating, and it's so infuriating for them, which I understand. But it's just the way the game goes. It's just dice.
Yeah. I
I
mean
mean, I've
that.
rolled 8 ones before now, so
Yeah. 4-ups are swingy. I mean, it's 50-50, so it legitimately just swings one way or the other. That's the way the math works. So it's
yeah,
fantastic. It's pretty funny when that happens. When it's just like one guy hanging on with like one wound, and then he goes up to 4, and then he's in his middle bracket, and he does something horrible, and he gets brought down to 1, and then he gets healed up to 4. Just like
yeah,
die.
yeah, and it happens so much. It really does, and it's quite infuriating.
Beautiful. So, how was round 3?
So round 3 was a matchup. I was really worried about. There was two lists in the whole tournament that I didn't want to play. So one was an Orc Buggy list, which
Mm-hmm.
I've played before, and there's just no point. There's literally no point in playing. Even if I go first, I might kill 3 buggies, and then the 7.9 million shots come back and kill me. It's just one of them. So there's that list, and then there was another list which was knights, but it was all like the small little Armiger knights,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was 13 of them.
I was just gonna say, is this the 13 Armiger list? I can already see it.
Yeah, and it's absolutely brutal. There's loads of Forge World in it,
Mm.
and then you've got the standard Codex ones, but they've all just got really high weapons, really high powered weapons. The warlord he had some crazy guns that was like D3 +3 wounds and God knows what. It was just unbelievable. Um, and it was a friend of mine from our local club as well. So, and he's actually a Grey Knight player. So I couldn't really cock anything up because he knew exactly what everything did. So there was no gotcha
he's
moments or
yeah,
anything like
he's
that.
calling you on stuff
Uh,
like actually.
yeah, exactly. Like, Gaz, are you sure you were doing that correctly? I was like, I think so. I should be. He's like, okay, just checking, just checking. So it was one of those games. So I really had to be on form. And well, the way I worked it out was going second, I would have to fight like so badly, and I would have to be so accurate with everything that I did because I knew I'd lose two, well, at least 2 Dreadknights,
Oh
unless
yeah.
I put most of it into reserve and then just hid. So if I put everything to reserve and hid, then I wouldn't have a game until about round 3, and then I would have to kill all of them in a round and a half, maybe, and then spend the last round sitting on objectives. It was just going to be an absolute nightmare of a game. Fortunately, I went first again. So, yeah, again, winning a tournament's great, but if you go first 3 times on the trot, then you should expect your odds to increase quite a lot. So yeah, went first. The sword bearers did their thing. I remember this quite vividly because it's the first time it actually really worked. So sword bearers, the HQ shot forward. I had to use a CP to extend the range of the spell to get the +1 to wound,
Yeah.
and then they just started falling like dominoes, basically.
Well, it's only against
Again,
one target, but did you get a big knight with it, or one of the small ones right
no,
at the
so
gate, or?
well, the whole thing was all little knights,
Okay,
but
I see.
the fact is that it took actually I think it took like 1.5 Dreadknights to kill it,
Mm-hmm.
rather than normally it might take 2.5 to kill it. Um, and when you've got 13 targets, that
Yeah.
makes an awful difference. It makes an awful lot of difference. So I think it was something like I think I took down 2.5 knights in the first turn, and then he came into me with a lot of his multi-melters, which were absolutely scary. But luckily for me, he whiffed on every single multi-melter, which I've never seen before. But he just whiffed on everything, and he said, "This is how the game's going to go." And I went, "Probably, yeah." And that's exactly what happened. Again, my dice were just really, really good, and his saves were just awful. If the dice would have been reversed, it would have been a game. But it was literally just picking them off one by one, and I don't think I even lost a lot at the end of the game.
Do you know if
Because
he
again,
was
everything was just being repaired.
right? Do you know if he was running Warglaves or what is it? The Helverins, Hevelins? I think it's Helverins.
Oh God, I think it was the two variants from the Codex.
Okay.
So you got one that's like a close combat one with a decent gun. Then there was the other one, which I think is quite a shooty one, and then there was some 4-drawer ones which had big, nasty, very scary guns.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know knights very well, but I think
Me neither,
I
not
think
very
it's
well.
the Warglaive with the thermal spear or whatever, and those are
Mm-hmm.
like really long range blast meltas or something.
Yeah, yeah, we had some stuff that was very, very long range. Well, the list was that good. I'd love to use it. It looked like a really, really good, fun list.
Those are such cool models too. Like I love knights.
They
They're
are, yeah,
just like they're so ridiculous. It's beautiful.
yeah. It really is. They're just so much fun, and they got like 14-inch movement or 12-inch, something like. They can move really far,
Yeah, 14
so they
inches
can,
is what I'm looking at right now.
yeah, so they can get through your back lines really, really quickly. And I think if it wasn't for the fact that I had interceptors and strike squads who could actually hold their own in combat, it'd just walk through my chaff, which is one of the really solid things that Grey Knights have got. They've got really solid chaff. So if you want to come and take me objective in combat, please do.
Yeah.
But if you fail, I'm going to punch you back really, really hard.
What were your strike squads doing? I think you had 2 strike squads, right? 2 5-mans.
Yep, 2
Yeah.
5-mans with halberds.
Mm.
So all they did pretty much every single game is just sit on an objective and bless it.
And then raise a
That's it.
banner. Like
Yeah.
yeah. Can you have
That's
like
it.
one unit raise a banner and one unit do purifying ritual in the same turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of
As long as it's 2
sitting around
separate.
on the back, but yeah. Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
two different units, obviously, because one unit can't do both, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Well, normally you've got a tech marine with them. I mean, when you very first start, you're pretty much castled onto one objective anyway.
Yeah.
And then if I can get the interceptors, if I split them into 2 squads, so 1 5-man squad will go an objective. If I have to run onto it, I have to run onto it. And then if I can get 2 onto another objective, because sometimes just a 12-inch move will do it from one to another. And that's it. They just sit there really if they can. If you raise banners, then brilliant. You just leave them there and off they go, and then something else will jump on the spot eventually. I just love them.
Yeah.
Such a good
Ethereal
armor.
castigation is so cheeky too. It's so much fun to like move them up and your opponent's like, what are you doing? And then they shoot and move back like behind cover.
Yeah.
You're like, what the hell? Don't do that. Well, joke's on you, I'm doing it again.
Yeah, they're really good. But if you've got something like amplification as well put onto something, and then when those interceptors go and punch something, God, they hit so hard then.
3 damage. It's no joke. Base 3? Like
No.
that is thunder hammer damage, but with, like halberd or sword accuracy, right? Like it's really legit for sure.
Yeah. And then if you've got like, I don't know, like exploding 6s on them as well, they might be next to a grandmaster, so they're re-rolling the 1s, and it just sort of escalates so much. You're taking down knights. pretty much anything you
Yeah.
hit is going down.
Warglave's wounds. Wow, they actually have fewer wounds than a Dreadknight. And they have they also have a slightly smaller base in a different way. Like,
Yes, they do. They've got their own base.
that's how big are they next to a Grandmaster or a Dreadknight model? Are they like smaller or about the same
Yeah,
size?
I think they're a little bit smaller.
Yeah. I played a Salamander player this last weekend, and I'm always astounded by how tiny the normal Dreadnoughts are next to like a Dreadknight.
Mm.
You know, it's like
Yeah,
it's this wee thing.
yeah,
Aren't they on like 60 millimeter bases or something? They're on pretty small bases too, at least
yeah,
compared to
something
a
like that.
Dreadknight. Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
cool. So, how would you modify your list, or are you very, very happy with the way that it is right now?
Yeah. What would I do with it? Like after that tournament, I thought, is there anything else I can do? Can I optimize it, even more? And the only thing I could think, trying different words, but then I lose the threat at the beginning of the game, like the moves, the the run and assault,
Yeah.
and I think just by losing it, it just takes the edge off my list. And if people then think, oh, it's okay, I can just set up on the line no matter what, and if I get first movement, it makes me then having to use. Sorry, I need to have another turn to get all the points that I need because they're closer to me and have to
Right.
push them back. Whereas
Interesting.
if they're castled in the face, even if I never have to use any abilities I've got, it doesn't matter. I get first turn ahead.
Okay. Interesting. So you really like the early game aggression of the inescapable wrath or whatever, the advance and charge for your grandmaster. You also like the pregame
Mm-hmm.
move for your other grandmaster. And then you like the exploding sixes from the rapiers, and that's why you wouldn't really change it, right? Like the other brotherhoods
No,
don't give you anything else that you'd like to see, right?
no. I mean, the other brother. I don't think it's bad brotherhood, to be honest. I think you can build some really amazing lists out of pretty much all of them. This one just suits my playstyle.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's all individual. Whatever suits you best, that's what you brand.
Oh, absolutely. I just think it's it's very interesting to talk to other people where even though you and I play the exact same army, we play very differently. Like I
Mm-hmm.
am learning to play cagier. I'm trying to
Yeah,
learn how to play cagier because being ultra aggressive has just gotten me absolutely raffle stomped in the past. So I need to be thinking like, okay, I can
yeah,
sit around and do nothing turn one, and then I can explode outward turn two, and not take losses.
mm-hmm.
But like before, I'm like, no, I want to be aggressive turn one, and it sounds like that's what you like, and that's great, and it's clearly working out. So.
Mm-hmm.
How does this list match up into? I mean, obviously you said freebooters orcs. It really doesn't because nothing really does. And then how's it work into AdMech?
I've only played a couple of events. None of them were the like tournament winning optimized ones.
Okay,
Um, I've played one that was very similarly optimized, but it didn't have the flyers. It just had a lot of boots on the ground.
okay,
It's a really, really, really tough matchup. Not gonna lie. Even going first, it's really tough, and you can still lose quite easily,
okay.
especially if the chicken get you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those
so
chickens are no
if you get
joke.
if the chickens, oh god, no, they're bloody awful. Uh, Again, if you start failing your four ups, then chicken's going to take three dreadknights off you in a turn. Easy.
Yeah, I believe it.
As that
D3
happens,
plus three, man.
pretty much
Assault
game
two.
over.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, sorry, you cut out a little bit. You said what? Game over?
Sorry. Yeah. So if the chickens get you, then you can lose 3 Dreadknights very easy.
Yeah.
It's pretty much game over. They've just got the whole entire army's got so much resilience and they're scoring so many points. And you've got to get rid of the long range threats first. But it's not the long range threats you really need to worry about. It's all the troops and everything that are just scoring all the points.
And a fully buffed Ranger blob is no joke. Like,
you just don't touch it.
Yeah. I mean, they shoot
something else.
Yeah. But they like shoot so hard anyway. You know, they drown you in shots.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna roll ones eventually, right? Like
yeah, exactly. Well, that's it. Eventually, you are going to roll ones, and if they're just pinging off you, especially if the chickens have done their jobs, you've only got say 2 or 3 Dreadknights left, then the troops will take out another one.
Yeah,
just by pinging at you.
Yeah,
and then you really are screwed.
All right. So, was this tournament at a place that you frequently go to? How was the terrain? Was it well done? Was there a lot of it? Was there too little of it? Were the tables different?
There was lots of different tables, thankfully. So we've all lots of different terrain. But the majority was quite heavy terrain. We agreed at the beginning that all ground floors were blocked.
Okay.
Then all standard rules for ruins and everything were used. If we weren't sure what something was, we usually just called it a ruin. Gentleman's agreement, just make it easier.
Yeah.
Try and have as many forests on there as possible as well. Near all tables had like a forest or something that, again, to help. Because I think so many lists, they really need all the buffs they can get. Especially if you've got like Nids or something like that, especially then before the new Octarius book come out, they just need so much help. And also Tau to a certain extent, because they're just going to get shot off the board by a lot of stuff now.
Yeah.
So it just really helped. It was very, very good. It was a local club called Board in Brum. And for those that aren't from England, Brum is another name for Birmingham, which a lot of the country takes the piss out of if you come from Birmingham, because you sound a bit like me. So, so I believe they moved outside of Birmingham because they were bored in Brum, but they also sell board games. So it kind of, the name's really apt, and it's a very good name, and it's a lovely club.
It's a whole bunch of puns.
We go there every. Oh yeah, we're all full of puns. I think us gamers, we love taking the piss out of ourselves as well, which is brilliant.
Sure. I mean, what friends don't, right? Like, good friends are gonna axe on you all the time, which is a good thing if you ask me.
And I think it is very good, and I think with this hobby as well, because as you said before, we all just play with man hobbies. So you need a sense of humor.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I don't know. Sportsmanship is very important to me. So all the time when I'm playing opponents, I'm like reminding them what I can do. Like reminding them, oh, hey, didn't you have a +1 to hit or something, or aren't you supposed to be rerolling ones? I want it to be a good, solid game. Like, I don't want to win because somebody forgot some stuff. I don't want to win because they didn't realize I was like setting up for a trap that they, I told them before the game, sure, that I can do this, but then, I don't know. I want to win because I was a better player, not because somebody forgot something,
Mm-hmm.
So, that's,
and I think in this edition, that has become really relevant. There's no edition that I've been in before this where that was such a big thing. Like it was never like this before.
You mean with
having a gotcha?
Oh,
just the what do you call it? Like an anti-gotcha sportsmanship. Like before, gotchas happened all the time. It was just something you dealt with. You learned from it, and then when you played that army the next time, you knew all the gotchas, kind of thing.
Huh.
But now with there's an awful lot of this playing with intent, which seems to be like the big buzz thing at the moment. So you just basically telling everybody all your tricks before the game even starts. So it's quite new.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Okay. See, I just started playing like I think I got in 2 games at 8th on TTS before the 9th book just dropped. And I was doing that mainly just to see if I liked the game at all. I didn't even own any models till 9th was a thing. So I got into this because of COVID. I was like, guess I have a new hobby now. Um, but so for me, like I've always done. I guess I grew up as a Boy Scout, and I try to be a very like forthright, trustworthy guy. And so for me, it's like I want to play games with my friends. I want to, make fun of one another, have some laughs, throw some dice, drink some beer, and like have a good game. I'm not really like I'm not super worried about being first or winning all the time. If I lose but I learn something, I consider that a win in a way. And I'm not just saying that because it sounds good for a YouTube person to be like saying that, but like, I really do believe that. And I'll take time out of my own days to like teach new players, right? When your first game starts and it's like a 5-hour game because you don't know what the hell anything does. I will do that all the time. Like I can host 3 tables in my garage, and my experienced friends will go play 2 games on the other 2, and I'm like, on the bottom of turn 3 after 5 hours with a brand new player because I want them to get engaged and interested in the game. And it's not, I know I'm not going to be really learning anything personally from that match, but in 6 months, 8 months, once that guy's like hit the ground running and he's learned a lot, he might be like teaching me tricks for all I know. So I think it's important for the whole community to raise everyone up, and you can't do that when you're being an asshole and like doing gotchas and driving people down. And luckily I haven't seen that at all anywhere. I've played probably a dozen complete randos. They've all been very nice people and very helpful. At this last RTT, when my player of the second game learned that this was my first tournament, and I was like, I'm really bad at my deployment. He's like, all right, let's just deploy together, and I'll tell you everything that I'm doing and why. And that was super cool. Like, this is a tournament. It's not like a GT or a major, but like that was super cool. And he like taught me a whole bunch of tricks about how he was lining stuff up for like maximum auras and how his army worked and how I should counter deploy and exactly what board state he was trying to go for. And I thought that was like so refreshing. So before we even rolled to see who went first, like I was already learning, and that's fantastic. So Max, if you actually watch this, thank you very much. So tell me about, now that we've talked about amazing players and how we can all help make the community better, tell me about that shitty player that you had.
I was waiting for this.
Nice. See, I'm transparent.
Fair enough. Right, this is the same player that a chap called Stephen Box mentioned. Do you watch Vanguard Tactics?
I do. I'm actually a member of the Vanguard Tactics Academy.
Well, there we go. So, a while ago, God, must have been after the first lockdown. I can't remember, but anyway, something happened. He played a guy. He got yellow carded, and this guy was basically very famous for rocking up to GW events and just making up rules, basically. Just making up random rules. So I've got 78 different stratagems. They're all going to cost me 1 CP, and I can do whatever I like.
Cool.
And
must be nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he won an absolute ton of events. And he got caught out, basically. And every time he got caught out, he kept getting caught out. He got caught out online. He got called out. And eventually I went to a tournament. I ended up playing him. And someone said, you know, that's that guy. And I went, oh, fuck. They see, I've got this problem where between here and here, there's no filter
Yeah.
at all. There's just no filter.
Okay.
It's the Irish in me, unfortunately. My family's Irish, so I'm kind of brought up with it. You kind of say what you think, and then consequences afterwards. So I met this guy on the end of, I think it was in the first day. I went to him, he was like, "Oh, I'll play tomorrow." I said, "Yeah, mate, but no bullshit.
We're losing
Don't
you
tell me
again.
about." Oh shit! I'll
Oh,
be back.
so wait, no, there it is. So end of the day, you ran into this guy, and then what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so he just said we're playing tomorrow, and I said yes, we are, but I don't want any bullshit, shit whatsoever. I know who you are. I know what you do. I know the kind of shit you have to pull. So don't do it.
Wow,
And that was that.
pretty aggro.
Yeah. And he went,
Did it work?
yeah, because yeah, mostly, yeah. I just haven't got time for it. It's man dollies, for God's sake. You
Yeah.
know, we're here to play a game and meet friends and have a drink and tell each other what a retard we've been and who knows what else. And the insults are flying across the table. It's all good fun and games. And you don't want people taking it so serious that they have to just for it.
You don't. Oh, we're losing you again. Oh no. You don't want people taking it too serious, and then everything after that was.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't take it someone too serious because it's man dollies.
Yeah.
If you need to cheat to win a tournament, then what's the point? Because you're going to get found out. Everybody finds out who wins tournaments. You know, there's pictures all over the internet. We've got huge social media.
And there's like, there was that big hubbub a few months ago. Cheating caught on stream. Like, you're on one of the final tables. Your game is being streamed. Everybody can hear you on the microphone and see your dice rolls and exactly what you're doing. And like, you've never. You don't think people are gonna. I mean, your opponent might not see it, but like eventually someone's gonna, right? Like people watch those streams. It's not like
get caught.
Yeah, it's so weird to me that people. I don't get it, but yeah.
Me neither. So we had at the time we were both playing Iron Hands as well when they were like really like broken and brilliant.
So this was the end of 8th then?
And yeah.
Okay.
Actually, yes, it must have been the end of 8th then. So it was quite a long time ago. Sorry, once you get to my age, time's just irrelevant. It all just blurs into one big. It all happened yesterday.
I am curious to know how old you think I am.
How old?
Oh.
Well, you've got too much hair to be anywhere near my age.
Okay. So you're not going to answer?
Yeah. Oh, I'm crap at this game.
Okay. I'm 37.
Really... you're a youngster.
I got very lucky with the whole hair thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just didn't. Yeah. Waste of time. So what happened then? So the day after we had our game, and again I reiterated to him, just don't even try it. And just so happened next to me was Manny Chima.
Nice. Okay.
I'm sure you've heard of Manny.
Yeah.
Manny was next to me, and Manny's like going. And Manny's like, Gaz, just Gaz, no, Gaz, just shh, just don't. It's like, ooh, again.
For my listeners, Manny is a tournament winner and he runs Glasshammer. So if you want some pretty fun games, he's got a YouTube channel called Glasshammer. So anyway,
he's a lovely guy as well.
So let me just to reiterate real quick. So there's this guy with a known reputation. He's playing the same army you are, so you know the rules of that army very well. Then then you tell him to not do the stuff that he has this reputation for doing. Manny is now like, I don't want to be caught in the area of effect. Please don't bring me into this. So then what happens?
Yeah, I had like a 6 foot aura of pissed off around me, which obviously I didn't want to buff any of my friends around me with that aura, but one of them. And it just started from turn one, really, just doing and just trying things on, and like moving a bit more, trying to say rules this when it's not. I had the TOs there constantly. There was a huge argument after my turn one when I moved my planes, and he was adamant that I couldn't move my planes in a certain direction for where they started on the board. And the TO came over and tried to explain to him that if the planes were in the direction that he said they should have been in, because they got knocked during the movement phase, he said I would have had to start in his deployment zone, not my own. And he just wouldn't take it. So the TO just had to make a ruling and say, look, mate, this is where they are. This is where they should be. Shut up and play the game. Anyway, it turned out that I lost the game because he went first, because it was a complete mirror match, loads of planes. And yeah, who went first just won, basically.
So it was a total, like, even list mirror match? It's completely...
I think there may be like a couple of units different.
Sure,
That's
okay.
when like the repulsors were really good. There was like tech marines everywhere. There was loads of planes. I think we both had 5 or 6 planes we had each. So whoever went first was the win anyway. Barring voice being absolutely mental.
Sure.
So that was my worst one. I mean, did I go into it aggressive? Yes, I did. But I just wanted him to know that I knew, and that was the only way that I knew how to do it. It's not what I normally do. I mean, if you go online, you might still be able to find it. And if you Google the Orgasmatron, this is a bit of a long-winded story, but I once went to a tournament dressed in a set of collars and some cuffs and shorts. There were shorts, yeah. So that's the kind of personality and player I really am.
Is this an Orgasmo reference to the movie? Confused now. I think we might.
It was. Oh God!
I think this might be a like across the pond kind of
Orgasmo. Right,
situation.
I've heard of all. Right,
Yeah.
okay. There
Are you a man?
was
A many man?
right. There's a Woody Allen film where they had a machine called the Orgasmatron. I
Okay.
think that's what it was called anyway. And me being, well, my name's Gaz, so that's my alter ego. So the Orgasmatron is my alter ego. All right, I don't dress like him anymore because I looked a lot better back in the day. Obviously, not now. Not being 44, I'm not going to do it. But yeah, so I went to a tournament dressed in collar and cuffs for a team event. And that's where it all sort of started. But that's normally the kind of person you're coming up against if you want to play me. It's just fun games. Let's have a laugh. Let's take the piss. Let's have a beer afterwards. Let's go out for something to eat later on. Yeah, that's...
So it sounds like you and I would have a great time at this playing one another.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It's supposed to be fun, and there's a lot of people that don't care at all that it's competitive. They just want to take what they like, and they're usually the people that have absolutely beautiful armies. They have like beautiful NIDs or guard, or they've bought like a Drukhari list, but it's just all the models that they like, and they're just stunning, and you're absolutely embarrassed to put your own models in front of them and go,
Oh man.
there's my sort of 3 colors base stuff.
Yeah.
And they've got these intricately painted lifelike models, and you kind of feel a bit sad, really. We just brushing them off the table. And then you've got other players that are there just to get absolutely wasted and have an absolute laugh and don't care about the results. And then you've got players that go there because they genuinely want to win. And I don't think there is a wrong way to play it apart from being a dick.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's correct. And before I forget, I want everybody to know the Woody Allen movie is Sleeper from 1973. Ooh. I very quickly Wikipedia'd it. Wikipedia'd it, if that's even a verb. But there it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you want to check that out, feel free.
Yeah. The Gaswitron looks like a really cool machine. That's all I'm going to say.
I wonder what it does. so let's switch to hobbying real quick, because you kind of like brought that up. I recently finished, right before this RTT, a Grandmaster Nemesis Dreadknight, and I've been working on my airbrushing, and I got this 3-tone fade to actually work. And it looks, I think that this finish looks like amazing. But when I put it now up against any of my other work that I've done, I'm like, I don't want to repaint my whole fucking army. Are you kidding me? Like, I just finished. But now I'm like, gosh, it looks so, like, he's, I did like a Zenithal, and then Grey Knight Steel as a base, and I did a Dragonhof Nightshade from the bottom for like shadows, and then I did Stormhost Silver over the top, so he just like glows. He's beautiful, if I do say so myself, and he makes the whole rest of my army look like absolute garbage.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, man, I guess I never should have gotten better, is the problem, apparently, because now I have to like either build and paint new models or repaint my old ones. Do you run into that too?
The other way around it. Oh no, my level is very low. So if it stays there, there's no issues.
Yeah, I was making sure I was up to the whole base 3 color like minimum, and I took a photo. I'll place it up here during post later, but I took a photo of all the colors that I was actually using on all my models, and it was like 32 colors or something. So I definitely hit the 3 color minimum.
Wow.
I mean, just between just base coating, I've got 3 colors, right? So that's not before anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you're playing competitively, you don't have time to paint everything beautiful anyway, because it takes such a long time. Even airbrushing, it still takes quite a while. And you're normally either chasing a meta, or you're trying something new. To try and curve it in your direction if you want to.
Yeah.
You just haven't got time to do it quick. Like at the moment, what can I show you here? Yeah, here we go. It's a prime example of painting. So here is, you can see it.
So that is
Zone Throat.
Yeah.
So this Zone Throat is really basic, but it's ready for the table. And it's just black, dry brushed silver, and then a purple wash over the silver. And then I did pink and purple brains and painted the top black. And then I've used the Girlfriend's Extraordinary Nail Varnish to make the top nice and shiny. And that's it.
Does she know?
Yeah. She says I'm either cross-dressing or painting man-dyes. And she said both of them, in her mind, are pretty much on the same level. So whatever, she ain't bothered.
That's hilarious. My wife is like, I don't get it, but I support it, because at least you're not doing drugs and having sex with other women, I guess. So, like, I brought home I bought an army off of a friend who was getting out of the game, and he happened to have Grey Knights, and I bought it all, and he gave me a killer deal. It was like $200, and I think it was like just shy of 2,000 points worth of stuff. It's awesome. And I got it home, and then she's like, oh, these are pretty neat, and ran out and bought a display cabinet for it. So my army had like a place to go, and then it's not like hidden away in the office where people don't go. It's like in our family room. So if we have parties and stuff, my mandollies are on display for everybody.
Wow. So, if she wasn't your wife, I'd say marry that one.
9 years here next month, so been doing this a little bit
Not
at
done.
least. Yeah, thank you. All right,
Yeah.
so oh
When I so gone.
no, please.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry.
Just a quick caveat. When I met my girlfriend, the very, very, very last thing I told her about myself was Warhammer.
Oh, really?
That was the very last thing, because I thought, well, if she can get past all the other weird stuff about me, then Warhammer won't be that bad. Because if you go straight with Warhammer, they're like, "Oh, you play with Man Dolly, you're one of them weird virgins at Playing Games Workshop." And like, no, I'm not. So yeah, so that was the last thing I told him, and she's like, "Oh, that's so sweet."
That's a very interesting take on the whole thing, because like, I grew up pretty poor, and I'm a stutterer, which you might or may not have actually noticed. I know that some of my viewers have. So like I grew up being very introverted and like reading a lot because I was a nerd, and I was always wearing like clothing that was too small because I was growing so fast, and I got made fun of a lot. And it wasn't until my
Yeah.
like mid-teens or late teens that I realized like I don't give a shit about anybody who doesn't like me, because they're not people I want to like hang out with
Mm-hmm.
anyway. So I wear everything on my sleeve, man. Like I'm very lucky that I also work in a field. Like if I was a lawyer, I don't think I could put out these videos. I don't think I could let everybody know, that I'm a LARPer and I play these stupid man dolly games, because you'd have a public image,
Mm-hmm.
right? That you have to, or if I was
Yeah.
like a doctor, right? I probably wouldn't want
Yeah.
my patients able to find that I swear a lot on YouTube when I'm talking about plastic, like toys, right? So I don't know. I
Yeah.
just wear it on my sleeve. Like I even tell my coworkers my very first day when they're like, "Tell us about yourself." Like, well, I like to play miniature war games. I paint, I cook, I camp a lot, and I LARP. So I go around and I run in the woods and hit my friends with sticks with elf ears on. Like, I have a lot of
Yeah.
silly hobbies. So
Yeah, but it's all good fun,
yeah,
and I think you'll find that playing Warhammer, everybody is so inviting, and nobody judges you. Like you can go to, I don't know, you can go to like a football match, or like man stuff, and people would judge you straight away. Whereas Warhammer, you can walk in with pink eyeshadow, stilettos, a dildo hanging off your head, tattoos of boobs all over your face, and nobody will bat an eyelid
see
at
that
all.
you just described like where I live, Portland. So like, no big deal. Everybody's welcoming here. Like, you do you. You
Yeah,
you let
everyone's
your you
welcome.
yeah, you let your kink flag fly.
Yeah, exactly. But you meet people, like we meet a lot of people that got like Asperger's, or
Mhm.
some form of autism on the spectrum somewhere.
Yeah.
And then when you meet those people outside of the hobby, you don't actually realize how many people you meet that have got these sorts of things,
Well,
and
it's
you
a
can understand them so
spectrum
much easier.
for a reason.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's not one or two things. It's sliding scale.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's all over the place. I mean, there was even somebody that had an argument that all of us have got some sort of Asperger's somewhere along the line, no matter how minute it is.
Mm-hmm.
They're obviously a lot cleverer than me. I do exactly what they mean, but you do get to
Good
meet an
dodge.
awful lot of different people, and we all just don't give a shit. Have you got a nice army? Yeah. Can you play it? Yeah. Let's have a game.
Yeah.
Because there's not many of us, so we haven't got the numbers really to be split or not like people. We all just have to get on, and I think we all do, and it's one of the major things that I love about this hobby. Brilliant.
Yeah. It's very welcoming. That's for sure. Yeah. I've
Mm,
never
definitely.
except against women. Oh my gosh. I have seen some of the cringiest stuff on some of these Facebook groups where like a woman posts up a photo of them playing at an RTT, and it's like just guys asking for her number and stuff. And it's just like, no,
Yeah.
stop. You're not actually. I hope you realize you're not actually helping at all. At all.
No.
Get more women into this hobby. Like,
No.
yeah, you are repelling people who
Yeah.
don't want to have that happen. But it's just like,
Mhm.
I don't know. That's
there
a
are a
whole
few
other.
girls. Yeah, but there's more coming. There's a lot more. You see them a hell of a lot more on YouTube channels now,
Oh yeah.
more than I've ever seen
Is
before.
it Katie? Katie is on or Tabletop Tactics now. Is that their name?
Yes, that rings a bell.
Katie. Yeah, I've been following as many like female content creators and Warhammer players that I can on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. Just
Hmm.
because I think that that's the positive reinforcement is important.
Yeah,
Don't be a dick, right? Like we were
yeah.
saying.
Well, that's the one group that I'm in, WS10. That's their big motto: "Don't be a dick,"
Yeah, I mean those
and they put it at the
are
top of all their events. Yeah,
that is on T-shirts like
yeah.
already.
Hmm. Yeah, just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
And it's such a simple thing. And if you follow that mantra in Warhammer, you're going to be fine.
Well, the golden rule, right? Like my mother would have said, treat others as you wish to be treated. So
Yeah. My dad would have said in his very Dublin accent, "Don't be a fucking bollocks." There you go. Same thing.
yeah, my mom would have followed up with a yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So it all works out.
Yeah, I got one of them as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
All
the
right.
way it goes.
Well, man, it's been an hour and a half. This is
That's
fantastic
quick.
conversation, right? See, like once two nerds start
Yeah.
to like talk about something that they're really passionate about, it just flies by, right? But those like 10
Definitely.
minutes we were dealing with like technical issues at the beginning, those felt like they drug on, huh?
It's
So
all right. These things just happen. It's not a worry.
yeah. Well, hey man, thank you so much. It's always fascinating to hear other people's like takes on the army, and you know, six Dreadknights. You had to really bend over backwards to bring that sixth one. So, it's really cool list, really fun. Do you do?
Thank you.
Have you seen anybody like stream anything with this kind of list or anything?
No, I think five's the most I've seen.
Okay, yeah. Four and five seem to be like a sweet spot in a way.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much. And for all of you out there, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment, and of course, call your mother.